go straight to our item number one, the reinstating of a full-time employee in the city secretary's department. All right, this is more or less an issue concerning the budget for 2025, 2026. And if we could go to the next slide. The proposal is to have an additional employee at the city secretary's office. What we're trying to do is reinstate the position that was once there, or have the council consider a budget adjustment for the additional staff. Currently, we have 2 full-time and 1 part-time person that was added back in 2024. And part of the reasons for the increase, for the additional full-time worker, is the increase in workload due to the reassignment of the records management responsibilities that came back to the office of the city secretaries, but without the additional person. Not only that, the efficiency, service quality, and compliance are also at risk. There's a lot of time-sensitive issues that are brought up to the city secretary's office. Open records requests. There was over 600 of them in 2024. And in fact, just a couple of weeks ago, we had one that had 15,000 pages on it. So those have to be looked at very carefully. Next slide, please. Okay, back in 2008 and 2009, we actually had 4 full-time employees at the city secretary's office, and these are the positions that were being held at that point. Okay, next slide. In 2009, the records management position wasn't eliminated. It was moved to a different shop. So the position itself was eliminated from the city secretary's office, but the functions were set somewhere else. And it went to the public affairs office, from what I understand. In 2017, the position was reclassified and actually left the city secretary's office with only 2 full-time employees. Next slide. Since then, if you look at the numbers, 4 individuals back in 2009, we had a population of 32,000. In 2024, we have 43,000, and we have 7 council members and not 5. There's been an increase, of course, with the number of residents that we have. There's an increase on requests, open records requests, a lot more items that are coming up that are responsible for the city secretary's office, and not to mention the request for the open records request. As I stated, there has been over 600 open records requests for 2024. Okay, next one. In fact, it was 655 open records requests, and these are very time-sensitive issues. Each one needs to be looked at carefully. Some of them are hundreds of pages, and some of them are thousands of pages long, and they require to be reviewed. Redactions are needed to be made on some occasions too, and many require the attorney's review also. Next slide, please. Administrative duties here at the city secretary's office, of course, managing and posting of the agenda. Board and committee oversights, the interview committee. These committees meet 3 times a year. They also have the alcohol permits and lien processes, codification of coordination with Unicode. The elections administration also, it has become an annual where we have runoffs. Normally that wasn't the case, and all of a sudden, the past 3 elections, we have had runoff elections because there's a lot of interest in being part of the city council. And of course, the training requested by the mayor and the 7 council members. Next slide, please. The current workload, we have 2 previous positions removed from the city secretary's office and reassigned. I'm not sure, I put public affairs office, but it could have been somewhere else. It could have been public affairs or the 311 office. What we're requesting is the city manager return those duties and that person, or what happened here is the city manager returned the duties to the city secretary's office, the records management portion of it, but omitted in providing the staff associated with those duties. In fact, when those duties were assigned, we did work with the city managers to get a part-time individual, 20 hours staff, but that's exactly what the individual, what is put in. It's just 20 hours, no more. And by law, they can't work more than 32 hours if I'm not mistaken. Next slide, please. So the workload has actually provided challenges and risks. We have our staff that is working at least 55 hours a week, in some cases more than 60 or 70 hours. It could be, it delays processing and public requests. These things are time-driven. The risk of non-compliance and legal mandates are still there. It doesn't negate the fact that even if you only have two, you still have those time limitations that you must meet. It also diminishes the service quality and also staff morale. When you continuously work, some of us understand that working 55 hours a week is okay on occasion, but when you do it over and over and over again, it does burn out the staff. And also, there's a growing backlog on administrative bottlenecks that they face. Next slide. The proposed solution is add one full-time administrative employee. It will support the current staff with administrative and clerical duties. And we can do that by reinstating the individual that was assigned previously, or the council can approve a budget amendment to add that position. Next slide, please. The benefits, of course, it restores the efficiency of records management. We have been seeing a lot of progress on the records management, which was neglected for several years. We can meet the legal deadlines and be compliant with the mandates that are provided. Provides a timely response to the public. It also prevents the staff burnout and potential turnover. And also the city standards that we must meet and provide to our residents. Next slide, please. So the request is to strongly consider the additional person during our next budget meeting. Now, at this point, we're not asking for you to approve it. It is only a point because this directly impacts the city council. That's why we're having this workshop today, is because you have to understand, if this position is not there, the city council is affected by that, by those limitations of what we can accomplish with the 2.5 individuals that we have there. That is the whole purpose of having this discussion at this point, to put that bug in your brains that, hey, in August, we have to have that discussion to consider that position. And of course, there is legal time limits associated with trying to get everything that needs to be accomplished by the city secretary's office. Next slide, please. That's more or less an overview regarding the request for the additional person. As most of you know, I'm in the office on a regular basis. I'm there just about on a daily basis. On occasion, I'm there at 8 o'clock at night, and I leave before the city secretary's office stays. So just imagine, I leave at 8 o'clock p.m., and they're still there at 8:30. And one situation, I think I left at 9, and they were still there at 9:30. And then I remember seeing the email about 10:30. So I was very concerned about the amount of time that they were putting in the office to accomplish what needed to be accomplished for our residents and for this city council. With that, let's open it up for questions. Councilmember Brown?
There is no doubt in my mind, or anybody else that watches at City Secretary's office, that they're overwhelmed. And I fully support adding the additional person back in there. Like you say, it isn't a true addition; it's reinstating a position that was there before, and just for whatever reason changed out. I don't know where our budget is looking like right now, but I would imagine we can make room for that for upcoming fiscal year.
No, you brought up an interesting point, because it's not only the position, but we have to consider the budget. Once these numbers are released, our staff will be putting that together so that we can make that decision based on the budget. Of course, it all plays into our decision at that point.
Well,
Councilmember, yes.
I think we can make a decision and then make the budget work.
Definitely. Councilmember Macaluso.
Just, it's in replace of the part-time, that person would be full-time? That's essentially what you're saying?
In addition to.
In
So we will
addition,
have
so
three-
an additional part-time, well, the part-time is still there plus another full-time?
Yes.
Okay. I think that when this is presented, I think it needs to be done in a little bit of a different fashion. And I'm just trying to play both sides here, but I think, trying to see something like that without any numbers makes it, not very informative, but I think we put in there the amount of record requests from 2024, but there's no historical data there. What was it in 2020? What was it in 2019? I think just showing the actual increase in workload will help a lot in being able to justify adding an additional position, other than just saying that they feel overworked. Which I'm not saying that they're not.
Okay.
I just think we need to show to be able to have proof on that.
I think we can try to get those numbers because, again, we're just trying to get your input and what you need to make that decision when we have our budget. So we'll try to get those numbers. Ms. Edmondson, if you can make sure how far we can go back to see where.
Ask the City Secretary's office for it.
We have to ask the city secretary for some assistance here. But yeah, we'll try to get those numbers before the budget so you can see what the pattern was. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Councilmember Guerrero.
I definitely agree with both council members, because if the position was there before and it's not there now, definitely our staff's going to be overwhelmed. And I also agree with Councilmember Macaluso. We definitely need some numbers to justify it, and we definitely need to have that replaced.
Let's clarify the numbers on open records, and then we can get also on the liens, how many liens were. We can show a pattern on those liens also.
Yeah, maybe just, the amount of contacts that they're receiving, over, year over year, just to see the actual workload, maybe a little bit easier to understand and see, yeah, this is definitely a situation where they're understaffed and difficult to keep up with that.
Okay. Right. Councilmember Watson.
I agree with the full-time position, but I would like to kind of see what the numbers are for introducing AI to the workforce in regards to the overtime. That might be something to look into, especially if they're doing a lot of overtime.
We'll have to pay a closer look with that AI because it's new technology. I don't know whether or not we'll have a discussion and see exactly what we can do there. Right, Mayor Pro Temp Hayward.
I concur with Councilmember Brown. If you go in their office on a regular, you see the workload, you see them being there in the evening. So I'm on board with getting a person in the office, and as Councilmember Brown said, we make the decision to do it and we just work the budget for it. The other thing is in understanding AI, as I've had conversations with different people about AI and the open records request. Part of that is because of some of the data that's in there that needs to be redacted. In trying to write an agent to do that information could be difficult because some of the things in the information they're retrieving could be different. So it would have to be someone that can do a specific thing. And I know at one point the state was looking at passing a law that says that you could not do open records, use AI with open records request because of some of the confidential data that could be in it. So I don't know that AI may work at this time. As far as that, but they can look at it. I just know that in having those conversations about it and trying to write an agent for that could be a little bit more complex than what it needs to be because you have to redact some information. Some things are copyrighted, some things are patent, some things are just in the way they are. They're confidential and can't be shared, so they would have to go through that and do that. So I don't know that that happens. For some other things, it maybe work, but if you're ever in the office during the day, you see the amount of work that's being done, and occasionally when I'm coming back from a trip and it's late at night, I still see Cherie in the office working on open records, and it seems that that's a bulk of her time as opposed to some of the other things that she's responsible for. So I'm not opposed to having another position in that office full-time.
Have some more questions? Okay. Councilmember Guerrero?
Yeah, I just want to clarify, we do need to not replace, we need to fill the position. My mistake.
No, and once again, this is just so that, like I mentioned before, this is a position that directly affects the city council. And that's why it couldn't wait until the budget hearing, the budget retreat that we were having, is because at the budget retreat, we are almost finalizing some of the information that is being provided by the staff to the council. But in this situation, it is a position that directly impacted the council, and that's why it needed to be brought up into a workshop discussion to get the numbers that you are requesting so that you can make that informed decision. Because we didn't provide everything that you requested because we had no idea what was going to be asked. But we can certainly get some of that information. Is there any information that you are requesting regarding records management since it is back in the office? No, there's still a lot of work to be done because it hadn't been done for how many years? Any idea how many years? 14 years. Records management left the office from the city secretary's office 14 years ago, brought it back, and now we got to play catch up for 14 years. So you see the impact, council, that this is having on this office. And that's why it needed to be brought up to your attention. Any other questions? Okay, with that, we will get the information that's being requested. We'll try to get it to you as soon as possible, definitely before we have our budget retreat. Okay, with that, it is 5:25 and we stand adjourned.